Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make your first Gunna style beat right inside of FL Studio. You guys will get the project files for free if you go to BusyWorksBeats.com/FL Studio. Let's hop straight into it. Now you need a strong riff. Firstly, we're going to go to the channel rack and hit this plus button. We're going to open up what's called Flex. Flex is going to give you a range of instruments. We're going to go to the store tab and make sure you guys download all the essential packs. So download all the essential packs, they're called. So essential strings, etc., etc. We're going to start with the general MIDI library. We're going to scroll down until we see what's called the nylon guitar right here. So on the nylon guitar, we want to turn off, usually I turn off these effects, but for now, we'll keep them on. But I like to turn these off with the power button. Nextly, we need to come up with a riff. So here's a riff I have. Here's the cheat code. I'm using a MIDI controller that has what's called a pitch wheel. And so I'm going to play all the black notes. So the way we get that sound is not playing the notes. We could play it that way, but it's kind of boring. So I'm just adding that extra R&B vibe to it. So let's tap it out. Dun, 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 dun. Somewhere around 135. Let's record this. Now I'm not going to record right at the downbeat. We're going to let some time go by and then record the phrase because the melody does not start at the downbeat. It goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's just record this little idea. And again, I'd highly recommend you guys get a MIDI controller. If you don't have a MIDI controller, you guys can right click here, which is your typing to keyboard piano. You want to right click here. And you want to use what's called the minor pentatonic. Okay, so the minor pentatonic, and then there's also the major pentatonic. Okay, so you guys can choose any root note you want, but you guys want to try the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic and just create melodies that way. So we're just using a 5-note scale. So let's get started. Now let's get this timing right. As I mess up while we record. Something about hitting record while you're going in. Okay, so as you see, something about just when you hit record, everything messes up. I swear to you guys, before this video, I was just playing it back to back to back. Okay, so now we have it recorded. Don't worry about the particulars. We're just going to make sure we get the starting point. Now remember, the melody starts before the downbeat. So we're leaving an extra bar of space so that the melody begins. I used to make the mistake of thinking the melody had to come in right at the downbeat. And that's why my melodies weren't my full expression of thought. So let's keep the metronome on. That one wasn't the greatest take. So I do like this take, the first and third take. Let's grab the slice tool and we're just gonna hit Shift Alt to do a vertical slice like this. We're gonna treat this as if it's audio and just delete that. Because we want subtle differences in our takes so it doesn't sound repetitive. Let's grab this. My snap to grid is on 1 bar. Let's grab the paint tool and just drag it over. That one can also be used, so let's grab that slice tool, hit Shift Alt to do a vertical slice. I'm just slicing right at where it begins, and then we're going to slice at where it ends, that little phrase. Get rid of the excess here. The reason I'm keeping 3 different takes is because we want the beat to feel like it's moving over time. And if you play the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, you're going to get the same results. So I recommend you guys have change ups. Okay, so let's just pull these up. We're going to start layering our beat in 4 layers. This is called the top line. This is your memorable melody, okay, which is that nylon guitar. Then we're going to work on what's called the harmony section. And then we'll work on what's called the contrast layer, which is usually your bass line or a counter melody, and then we have the rhythm section. Okay, so nextly, let's focus on the harmony. So the harmony could be the same instrument. Harmony is usually 1 octave lower than your top line. So let's right click and clone this right click, hit clone. So now we have the same instrument. Let's hit Control L to send this to the mixer where we can add effects if we want to and separate sounds. Now let's keep the metronome on because again, it does not start at the downbeat. So now we need to figure out what kind of chords are going to go underneath this, if any. So I'm just going to play around with the black keys to see what kind of vibe we can get. So like this chord, again, I'm just playing notes, just mess with the black notes. If you guys are on the pentatonic, you would just play multiple, typing your notes in, you would play multiple notes. So for example, let's just see what this would sound like. Minor pentatonic, play multiple notes on your keyboard. Usually you skip every other one. Okay, so you guys can come up with your own stack of chords here. I'm playing a random stack of black notes. I'm not thinking about the chord type. I'm not being technical here. We're just stacking notes. So this is not a technical approach to music theory. The simple part is I'm just in. The technique is that we're using those 5 notes. Let's copy that phrase over one more time, and I think we have all the notes. So now let's add a vibe here. Let's go to our channel rack. And to separate the sounds, because everything's fighting for the same space, let's go to where it says 2. If you don't see this, hit Alt-M on your keyboard to hide or reveal this number. Let's go into the mixer, which is this icon here. Select our second guitar. Let's grab the drop down. Let's go to Fruity Stereo Enhancer, and let's just turn this phase offset up. So now we have a nice wide sound. I like the sound, but it has like this little clicky sound, and I don't know what it is. So let me turn off the limiter and all the effects, because I don't know if it's just part of the sample or what. Let's turn up the channel volume on this side here. If you don't see that, go to your channel rack. Okay, so we're going to keep that phrase going. Just duplicate it over. Now we don't need the ending here, so we're going to grab that slice tool, hit Shift, left click, and then highlight this with Control. Hit Delete just to get rid of it. So now we can loop this technically. What I'll do to make this simple for you guys is just slice this into a loopable section. Now you see here the MIDI starts before the downbeat actually. So instead of doing it that way, let's just do it my way. Let's hit Control, highlight these. Remember, this bar is just leading into the melody. So that bar is not an actual bar of the song. So let's hit Shift, left click, and drag it so that it overlaps just a little bit. What I would normally do is combine these. So let's highlight this area. Let's just highlight all of it here and make this one big pattern. I'll show you guys why later. Let's hit Control G. Actually, let's not do it that way because I forgot we have beginners here. So let's hit Control Shift and highlight the chords or the harmony part, hit Control G. And then highlight the top line parts, hit Control Shift, highlight multiple, hit Control G. So now they're all combined in its own category. That way it's separated. Okay, so now let's work on either a bass line, which is going to be an 808 most of the time. You guys will get all the project files for free, so don't try to memorize every little tiny thing, but we need what's called the Spins 808. Let's right click, open that up in new channel, hit Control L, and really we just got to play the root notes of our chords, which was I'm going to play it by hand, and I'm just going to play octaves. So again, there's no rules for this, but I'm playing it into notes so that I can control the note values. I'll show you guys the MIDI after we're done. All right, something happened with the, so what happened here with the tuning, man, it's so particular. So what happened is, because we had overlapping MIDI, there was a pitch value for each. This is so advanced that y'all don't need to know. I'm just fix it for you. Basically, go into your piano roll by double clicking on the MIDI, pull up your ellipses, go to here, go to where it says channel pitch, and we need to make sure wherever that weird sound was, we need to fix that. Okay, because we have two notes competing, that's why. There we go. So basically it was an overlap of notes. So that's why it sounded weird. Let's delete this one. Okay, so this is so microscopic of a thing. It's not for beginners, but basically the tuning sounds weird here. So we need to fix this. And then we have another ghost note right here that nobody could probably even see. Let's get rid of that. So right here, we can reset this by just left clicking. We don't have to worry about the pitch down effect. If anything, you could right click, create a fade like this. Again, this is really advanced. Don't worry about what I'm doing here. I'm just correcting it for you guys at home. Not the greatest turnaround, but let's hear our bass. Let's go into the 808. Some people swear by just turning up the actual volume all the way up, but instead of doing that, you could just hit Alt, left click to restore the velocity. Let's hit Alt Q to quantize the notes, Alt plus Q. Here are the notes, if you want to copy them. Okay, we're going to copy this over. So let's call this the contrast layer. Let's start naming this stuff. In the top left, I'm clicking here, hitting R, so I could name this stuff for you guys. Harmony, maybe the top line. And now we need the drums and the percussion. So again, it's a little tricky when stuff is off by a bar. So what I will do for this video is just chop out that first bar. And hopefully it doesn't take out the vibe. But understand the melody starts before the downbeat, it's called. Let's find some drums. So now we're going to just do our typical drums. Let's go to the channel rack here. Right click, find first empty. Let's go to our browser tab, which is this icon here. We need to find some trap drums. I'm just going to give you guys the project files. Don't try to memorize every tiny little step. First, we need a hi-hat. Let's right click, open a new channel. Hit Control L anytime you send sounds to the channel rack. Let's find a snare that matches this vibe. Let's right click, hit Control L. Let's add a clap in here. So we need a hi-hat, a kick, and a snare. So t-t-t and a boom sound. We might just use the 808 as the kick actually. Let's just turn up the 808. Okay, now let's add our hi-hats. Let's go to a blank, let's go to the channel rack, right click, find first empty, hit enter. For the hi-hats, we're going to click over here. Click just somewhere onto the right side where it's grayed out. Right click, fill each 2 steps. So this is the basic pattern we start with in trap. Now you can see it's over 4 bars, so I need to fix this at the ending here. We have 1 bar extra. And let me see. Okay, so we have a bar extra. Now let's highlight this, hit Control B to latch paste. So this is our basic rhythm. Let's chop out some of this hi-hat with the trim button. Now the melody is playing a little fast, so let's go to the nylon guitar, go to the gear icon, go to the wrench tool and turn on what's called time shift. That will push the nylon guitar back into the... Now everything's trying to be loud, so first thing we need to do is go to the mixer and just hit Control and pull stuff down. So let me show you guys the technique for beginners. Let's go to the mixer, which is this icon here. We're gonna go to a blank insert, right click, call this like beat mix. You could hit Alt left to move it to the left. We're gonna hit Control, highlight all the mixer tracks you need, and then right click this up arrow and route to this track only. So now all your beat sounds are going to one bus. And the reason I'm putting stuff on here is so that I can add an EQ, like a parametric EQ2, and then just go to the left side where it says boost the gain, the main level. Let's boost that up to like 6 dB. This will allow you guys to keep your dynamic in your track without slamming everything at 0, basically. This is a more advanced technique, but... So now we can hear it loudly even though the beat technically is quiet. And that's a good thing for when you're producing. So now we need more sounds in here potentially. Let's go back to our hi-hats. Let's add our clap on the, turn the metronome on, go to pattern mode here, and count to 3 and 7. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3 and the 7 is where we put the clap and the snare usually. So let's add more activity in this 808. Let's double click to go inside the 808. Let's treat this like a kick. There's a pattern called tresio, which is ta, 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 ta. It's in reggaeton trap, it's in mob music, it's in Afrobeat. So we're gonna use that in the 808 to create more bounce to it. So here we're dum, dum, boom, like that. It just adds a little more step to the beat. Okay, so now my ear wants to hear like a counter melody. Now here's where we could add flutes, guitar. There's no rules for this next step. Let's right click, find first empty. Let's add another flex here with the plus icon. Let's go to flex. You guys will get the project files for free. Let's go to general MIDI. Now I'm using stock sound. So yes, your sound could improve if you have better plugins. But for now, let's just use stock sounds. Let's go to our flute. And let's go a couple octaves higher. Let's hit Control L. And I'm using the same black notes here. Same pitch technique. I might just do that. Just that small little doo, doo, doo. Let's record this. So really simple. So to me, that's called a counter melody. Okay, even though it's really an expression layer of the top line. Let me show you guys some more advanced stuff. I'm trying not to go too deep into everything about everything, but for each of these 4 layers, when you guys are making and arranging your beats, you also have what's called an expression layer for each. So you have the top line expression layer. That's usually where you pitch bend a lot of stuff. Contrast expression would be like 808 slides, for example. Your rhythm expression would be like hi-hat glitches. You don't have to add these in your song, but I'm showing you guys how to categorize what you're adding to your actual beats so that you understand what you're doing. I just pitched the hi-hats down a little bit. Gonna filter them out a little bit. So I'm taking off these effects because it made the guitar sound weird. Okay, so the 808's trying to like overpower everything, but we can go to what's called the pre-computed effects and mess with the boost knob here. Just add a little more impact to the 808. Now when the chords hit, it's clashing with the 808. So we need to figure out a way to either change the sound or EQ out the low end to where it's not fighting with that bass. Let's first just try pulling it up an octave, which is 1200 cents. In the top left, you can read these values. So on flex, you're just pulling the pitch up plus 1200 cents. That should get them out of the way. But now your beat will feel a little more hollow. Let's try different guitars. We don't always have to use the nylon. Let's try the jazz guitar. That's a little more aggressive, actually. Nylon sound. Let's just use nylon to keep it consistent. Now the top line is very dry, they call it, meaning it doesn't have effects on it. Okay, let's add a little step into the hi-hats, like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 just to make the beat move a little bit more. Another way to make your beat move is right click, go to piano roll, and you guys can add lower just add lower notes. And these act as if they're different instruments. I'm going to change up a couple 808s in here. Okay, so now we need background sounds. So again, there's no rule for this next sound. Let's right click, find first empty. We're gonna use flex to keep it simple, but there's no rule to like the next sound that we add. We just need something in the background. Let's add Control L and just start going through sounds here. So I'll play two guitars here. Let's clone this. And then I'll play a pitch bend guitar just to be in the background. We're going to add a bunch of reverb to it. All right, so on the next guitar, we're going to add another pitch bend here. So let's add a little more vibe to these. They already have reverb on the sound, but let's try adding some more reverb in the mixer. Let's find a blank. Whoops, mixer insert. Let's right click, hit R to rename this reverb. Now these sounds are going to channel 9, so let's just left click to send a duplicate of these sounds over to the reverb. We're going to open up Fruity Reverb 2 is cool, but also Lux Verb is the newer reverb. Where is it at? Lux Verb. And let's just try these out. And we're going to turn on what's called the feedback. We might want grain. This is a little more complex, but just follow these steps. Turn the feedback on and then add the high cut, turn that up. It just has like a glittery reverb in the back. Now to offset the time a little bit, we're going to add the Fruity Stereo Enhancer to the sound just so it doesn't pick up on the timing issues that I had. I'm also adding time shift. Again, I'll do all the like technical stuff for you guys. So we're sending more of the signal to the reverb and just turning down the direct signal so it's a little more muffled. All right, I'm turning the 808 up. So now I'm going to mix this a little bit for you guys. Don't try to follow every step. We're just going to add Fruity Wave Shaper. And then we're going to run it into a Fruity Soft Clipper. Let's turn the oversampling on. Make this a convex curvature like this. Add some, the volume comes from the preamp knob. And we just want to level the post knob to not make it loud. Then we're going to run it through Fruity Soft Clipper. So final. If you want more crunchy sound, pull the threshold to the left. If you want more clean, open sound, to the right. So we're going to try different textures here. So I'll do one thing with the 808. Let's go to the 808. We're going to use what's called the out parameter here to fade out the 808. Make it a little more like a kick shape. It shortens the 808. This will make it a little more danceable and truncated. Now I want to add some more sound effects to the nylon just to see where we could take it. Let's add this plugin called Transporter. It might be too much for this melody, but let's try it at least. This is a new plugin, so we're going to put it, just copy these settings. I like my reverse all the way up, octave all the way up, down up all the way up, and then tempo mode. I think it sounds pretty cool. Let's just turn the loop down. I think it's too many rhythms though, so let's figure out what we're gonna do here. Let's take out the harmony. I did that by accident. I added this 808, it sounded kind of hard. Let's see what this sounds like on the chords. I like the sound of what it's doing, but I just want to hear what the chords sound like. I'm going to send the chords to that channel. We'll mute the top line for now. See if we get any. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll move this plugin over to the chords, click the drop down, go to save preset as, drag it over to the chord channel. In this case, I'll just turn it off for now on the top line channel. I'll do all the work for you guys so you guys can get the project files for free at busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Let's run this back. So now we're just adding little touches to the rhythms to add that pop out sound. So I consider this area a counter melody. So these two playing is top line and it's like a call and response. So I consider that a counter melody, so that goes in the contrast layer. So here I'm layering a snare in just for more impact and more frequencies. So now I'm going to mess with the mixing to see the different tones we can get. Adding some delay to that top line guitar to fill in space. We could automate this by right-clicking the mix level, hit create automation clip, and basically the delay, I can have that come in over time. So I could turn this down to 0 so it's off, and then right-click to add what are called nodes, and then turn this on during the second half here. So let's take out that top line in the beginning and let's add the harmony. So I push the guitar a little bit to the back. This is making little rhythm changes, adding 808s here and there. I think we need a general reverb, so I'm going to add another reverb channel in the mixer here. Again, you guys don't have to do all this technical stuff. Let's add a Fruity Reverb 2. We're going to just turn the wet level all the way back up, make it a wide, long decay reverb. So basically, I'm going to send the duplicate of this sound, the top line, over to the second reverb, and we're going to just left click to do that and turn the mix down. just messing with the tone of the sound here. So let me show you guys some magic here. Once you have everything laid out, let's save this as a new copy, hit Control N, just in the case that you want to go back. Let's highlight anything with a MIDI note except for the drums. So anything tonal, so like the 808, the harmony, we're going to hit Control, Shift, left click and highlight. So we're going to highlight all these layers, the top line, the contrast layer, the harmony. We're going to hit Control G to group that all into one big pattern. And we're going to create what's called a pitch change. So again, I'm going to give you guys, hopefully I remember to give you guys both the versions of this so that you have the original and then you have this version. Because to edit all the stuff, you have to go in here and manually edit. It takes forever. Long story short, what we need to do is transpose this. So we're going to go to the pattern selector on the left side, find where it says pitch change. We're going to right click and transpose this. Down is negative values, up is positive values. So let's go down 3 semitones, meaning 3 keys. We're going to go down 3 notes basically. So we're going to get a whole different vibe. So I like some of the tone, but not all of the tone. So let's transpose this up 3 semitones and then 3 more. So +6. So now we're +3 from where we started. 3 keys up. Now this sounds really nice, but let's see what happens when that melody comes in. This feels way better in this key. This sounds way better in this key to me, so I'm going to save this version but give you guys both versions. When you go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio, be sure to go to the project files. When you guys get your first email, it gives you a folder. So make sure you go to the folder that says project files, then go to where it says FL Studio project files, then go to where it says Gunna, and then it will be in there. Both versions of this beat will be in that folder. Let's play this one more time through. we could EQ the guitar chords a little bit better to not clash with that 808, but we're not going to mess with everything in this video. Thank you guys for watching. So that's how to make your first Gunna style beat in FL Studio. I'd highly recommend you guys get a MIDI controller. If you want a recommendation, the FLP 37 is really good by Novation. I have one right over here. Very durable. It has all the buttons you need. All right, so that's what I have to say for you guys. Go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio to get these project files for free. If you want to learn more about how to make beats like the pros, go to busyworksbeats.com/premium. I'll leave all these links below. Peace out, guys.